stairs groaned beneath my weight like the brittle bones of some ancient, forgotten beast as I hauled the last cardboard box up to the 5th floor, each creak a protest against the burden of my meager possessions. The air hung heavy, thick with the damp, musty stench of mildew that coated the peeling wallpaper, laced with a sour undertone that caught in my throat and twisted my stomach into a tight knot of unease. Apartment 4B awaited at the end of a narrow hallway, its door a sickly shade of green, flaking like diseased skin, water stains mapping continents across the ceiling above, their brown edges a testament to years of neglect. I fumbled the keys from my pocket, my hands trembling, not just from exhaustion after the climb, but from a deeper, gnawing anxiety that had shadowed me for months, a constant companion since the weight of student debt had begun to crush my spirit. This place, a steal at $400 a month, now loomed as a mystery I was beginning to dread unraveling. The fluorescent light overhead buzzed erratically, casting jittery shadows across the cracked walls, its flicker following a strange, rhythmic pattern, 3 quick pulses, then darkness, then 3 more. Like a Morse code I couldn't decipher, a silent message from the building's depths. The lock resisted, fighting my efforts with a stubbornness that echoed down the empty corridor, finally yielding with a grinding click that reverberated like a gunshot. The door swung open with a low, mournful moan, revealing my new home. A cramped studio with yellowed walls and a carpet worn thin by decades of unseen feet, its fibers stained with darker patches where furniture once stood, reminiscent of crime scene chalk marks etched in silence. It was mine, a sanctuary carved from necessity, the only refuge I could afford with my mountain of student loans threatening to bury me alive. I set the box down beside its companions and surveyed the space that would be both my prison and my salvation. A kitchenette huddled in one corner, its cabinet doors hanging askew like broken wings. The laminate countertop bubbled and peeling to expose the particle board beneath. The sink dripped steadily, each metallic plink growing louder in the oppressive silence, a metronome of decay. The single window overlooked an alley, where garbage cans clustered like metal mushrooms, their lids askew, spilling refuse onto cracked asphalt below, a tableau of urban neglect. The bathroom door stood ajar, revealing cracked tiles once white but now yellowed and stained with age, a mirror hanging above the sink reflecting the room with an unsettling clarity, as if it watched rather than merely showed, its surface distorting the familiar into something subtly wrong, a shift that prickled the back of my neck. As I began moving in, a sudden movement spun me around, nearly toppling the box at my feet. A woman stood in my doorway, and every instinct I possessed screamed danger, a primal alarm that set my pulse racing. She was pale, not merely fair-skinned, but a pallor that suggested something vital had been drained. Her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun that stretched her skin unnaturally, sharpening her features into a mask of otherworldly precision. But it was her smile that froze my blood, stretching too far. Her lips taut like wet canvas pulled over a frame too large, a grin that held no warmth, only a predatory gleam. "I'm Clara," she said, her voice oddly melodic, each syllable measured with the precision of a rehearsed play, filtered through old speakers with a crackling undertone that hinted at decay. "I live down the hall. You'll like it here, Elliot." I had never told her my name. The lease paperwork, perhaps, but her unblinking stare, her gray eyes like old glass, mechanical in their stillness, made my stomach clench with a fear I couldn't name. "Thanks," I managed, forcing a smile that felt like plastic on my face. "I'm sure I will." She tilted her head at an unnatural angle, a bird studying prey, the movement sharp and sudden, accompanied by a faint crackling that might have been her neck, or something else entirely. "The building has its own rhythm," she said, her smile fixed like a mask. "You'll learn." She glided away, her steps silent on the creaking floorboards, a ghost in the dim light, leaving goosebumps crawling up my arms like insects. The absence of sound from her movement, against the building's constant groans, unnerved me as much as her presence. I shook it off, attributing it to the eccentricities of old buildings and lonely neighbors, but her words, my name, lingered like an echo I couldn't silence. 20 minutes later, a knock jolted me. The delivery guy from the moving company standing in the hallway, his young face pale, eyes darting like a hunted animal. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the chill, his hands trembling as he shoved the last boxes at me. "Last of your stuff," he said, his voice cracking, glancing past me into the apartment, then down the corridor, throat bobbing. "Man, this place gives me the creeps. Bad vibes, you know? Seriously bad vibes." I followed his gaze, my blood chilling as Clara stood at the hall's far end, motionless, her unsettling smile splitting her pale face, head tilted at that impossible angle. "She's just a neighbor," I said, my voice uncertain, a nervous laugh falling flat. "Yeah, well," he shook his head, backing toward the stairs with obvious relief. "Good luck with that, man. Seriously, you're gonna need it." His footsteps echoed like gunfire as he fled, leaving me to pull the boxes inside and lock the door with a force that felt like a shield against the unknown. The silence that followed was heavy, oppressive, as if the building itself held its breath. I told myself it was just the weight of old concrete and neglect, a strange neighbor, a skittish delivery guy, nothing to fear. But as I unpacked, small anomalies emerged. The hallway light persisted in its bizarre rhythm, and when I paused, a whisper drifted from the heating vent, soft and unintelligible, curling like smoke. I pressed my ear to the grate, hearing only the building's groans and my rapid heartbeat. Then my keys slipped from their hook, clattering to the floor. I hadn't touched them, the hook secure in the drywall. I rehung them, testing its stability, but the incident left me uneasy, a stress-induced jumpiness, I reasoned, given my precarious new job at a design firm downtown, a 3-month trial period, my last shot at financial salvation. My phone buzzed with an email from my supervisor. "Great work on the Morrison project. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next." The praise should have lifted me, but in that dim room, it felt hollow. I'd spent 18 hours on those designs, hunched over my tablet until my spine ached, surviving on coffee and desperation. As I bent to plug in my laptop, a miracle occurred. The persistent back pain that had plagued me for months vanished. A relief so sudden I froze, testing my spine with twists and stretches, finding no trace of the familiar stab. Finishing unpacking as darkness settled, I watched the alley transform into a canyon of shadows, the apartment shrinking, its shadows deepening into entities of their own. At 11:30, brushing my teeth with metallic-tasting water, a low hum emanated from the walls, a vibration that grew into a pulse matching my heartbeat with disturbing precision. It made my teeth ache, my skull throb, as if something drilled from within. I pressed my ear to the wall, the sound shifting, kitchen to living area, like a living thing crawling through the building's skeleton. It wasn't mechanical, too deliberate, a chant just below hearing. Checking my door before bed, I found it ajar despite the deadbolt. Cool air carrying that sour smell, more intense now. I locked it twice, wedging a chair under the handle, the hum fading to the building's ordinary sounds. Lying in bed, staring at the water-stained ceiling, I wondered what I'd stumbled into. The rent was too cheap, the neighbors too wrong, and something hummed with predatory intent beyond my door. Friday morning brought silence. No alarm, no traffic, just the building's oppressive quiet pressing against my ears like cotton. The air in 4B felt heavier, clammy with moisture, as I shuffled to the bathroom. The mirror stopped me cold. A shadow flickered behind my reflection, not mine, standing where nothing should be. I spun, finding the bathroom empty, the mirror showing only my pale, wide-eyed face. "Just tired," I muttered, but the unease settled into my bones. The coffee maker gurgled, and above me, footsteps echoed across the vacant 6th floor, slow and deliberate, stopping overhead. I held my breath, but silence returned. Flipping on the TV, static filled the screen, shapes writhing in the snow, almost faces, dissolving into chaos across every channel. A working news channel felt jarring, my phone buzzing with praise from a coworker. "Saw your Morrison designs in the client presentation. They loved them. You're definitely making an impression." By noon, the walls felt closing in, driving me to the basement laundry room, my clothes reeking of that sour hallway smell. Sam, a gaunt man with graying hair and sleepless eyes, fed quarters into a machine. "You're the new guy, for B. Elliot," he said, his tone weary. "How's the apartment treating you?" His question held weight. "Fine, I guess. It's quiet," I replied. His bitter laugh cut the air. "Quiet, yeah, that's one word for it. Word of advice. Kid, keep your head down. Don't ask questions. Just do what you're told." Before I could press, he left, his cryptic warning lingering. Back in 4B, the Thai food delivery guy froze, his face draining as he stared past me. Clara stood at the hall's end, her smile wider, teeth glinting like wet glass, hands twitching like a marionette's. "Don't look at her," he whispered, fleeing. My phone buzzed. "Watch yourself." The food tasted wrong, too salty with a metallic edge, and the afternoon dragged, every sound setting my nerves on edge. In the kitchen, I found a note taped inside a cabinet. The rules. Follow them or die. Never make eye contact with the 5th floor residents for longer than 3 seconds. If they speak first, respond politely but briefly. Never initiate conversation. Leave a glass of water outside your door each night. Do not ask what drinks it. Do not invite them in. If you hear your name called through the walls, do not answer. Never be in the hallway alone after midnight. Break these rules and you won't leave 4B alive. They are not human, something else wearing human faces. The blessings they give come at a price, but the price of breaking their rules is death. Good luck, M. Trembling, I filled a glass and set it outside, feeling watched. A knock revealed a pie, its lattice crust reeking of sweet rot. A note from Clara. "Welcome to the building." I left it, sensing danger. Blessings flowed. An email from my supervisor. A $300 student loan refund. But the apartment shrank, shadows moving in my periphery. That night, whispers seeped through the walls. My name called by Clara's distorted voice. Pleading, insistent. I bit my tongue, resisting, the whispers burrowing into my skull until dawn. The water glass empty, reeking of rancid decay. Days blurred, my keys clattering to the floor, later found in the fridge, ice crystals forming around them. A shadow flickered, tall and smoky, the hallway light humming a melodic chant. Whispers in unknown tongues haunted my sleep, my name a refrain. I followed the rules religiously, but the building's attention pressed against my mind. Sam confirmed the tenant's nature. Predators wearing masks, granting blessings at a cost, erasing rule breakers. My laptop designs shifted into faces, groceries delivered with the same terror, Clara's smile splitting wider after I met her gaze too long. A hidden note from Marcus, the last tenant, warned of his fate, my bank account emptying as punishment. That night, the door rattled, Clara's voice a cacophony, the air turning glacial. I fled to the bathroom, the presence invading, frost forming on the mirror. Her voice echoed, "You answered, now we can come inside." I clung to the rules, surviving dawn's silence. An email offered a 6-figure lead designer role, a text congratulating me on surviving. Sam explained the bathroom safety, the blessings leash. I adapted locks, routines, eyes down. Prospering but trapped, watching a new tenant fall into the cycle. The scratches on my walls multiplied, a message I painted over, resigned to a life measured in water glasses and watchful shadows. Can you withstand the terror of a building that feeds on your fear? Or does the thought of blessings with a deadly price send shivers down your spine? Reflect on whether this chilling tale suits your taste for dark, immersive horror.